I'll never get to sit on this bench. Mm-mm. I think it's behind the...
Yeah, it is usually behind the piano. It's the magical bench right here.
A straw made from agave? Okay, lucky tree.
This is where our mic is gonna be.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. You just...
Okay, this is I've seen this before though. Like,
yeah, they definitely
you take this
that.
and then you track it through the audio. You know, this is fire.
You probably might want to throw it a little closer, not too close.
Yeah. Okay, don't want to mess up the audio, the waves. I'll just talk with my library voice.
That's right. This is cafe voice.
It's definitely cafe vibes.
Like, it's so intimate and close. We probably don't even need to like switch it up. We just go. No, I'm joking. But anyway, let me make sure I'm recording. So
Oh, this is good.
right there. You gotta double check, triple check.
Yeah, I want to make sure. Is that a lens cap?
Who?
From SpongeBob when he was, is that a lens cap? Did you not watch SpongeBob?
Damn, I guess I did not.
Oh my God. That's crazy.
You said is that a lens cap?
Yeah, so there's an episode where they're filming a movie and Patrick forgets that the lens cap is on the camera.
You probably taking up all the space, bro.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I missed that.
It's okay. I was a sponge kid. I can't even lie.
That's perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, I missed that, but I used to watch SpongeBob, but how old are you?
25. I'm 25.
You're 25. Okay. I'm 31.
Oh, okay.
So I probably could go for it like 21, 20. But I missed that. Well, actually, that was during my time more so. The SpongeBob, when it was really, really popping.
I think so. I mean, I feel like you would have been, of age to understand it better than I did at that time.
Yeah, I guess I just don't remember it. But yeah, that's dope though. Lens cap.
That's interesting though. Because I definitely would have thought that, like, you're right. I definitely was like looking at you. I was like, you're like 22, 23. Like,
oh yeah, no, I'm old. But yeah, not old. But
yeah, I think it's like a wine thing. You know, if you choose to age with grace, you will.
And also your nature, it shows like as you get older, like evil folk, they just look evil as they get older. They look old and evil. You're good nature, good heart. You look young and youthful. You look,
So, I have a question for you. What inspired like the tattoos?
What inspired the tattoos?
Yeah, like I think it's the Eye of Horus, but I don't know what the TLWI
specifically.
What the dot stands for.
Specifically those particular tattoos. Let me make sure we're still recording. Remember, double check, triple check. Okay. Well, I guess this could lead into like the introduction for the peoples.
Okay.
So for me, my name is Raleigh Yukawa. Artist, multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, interdimensional, whatever, all of that, just across the board artists, do everything, and very spiritual, very in touch and in tune with my ancestry, my people, where I come from, this planet, this land, Earth, and with that, I got into, I've learned, I was in a rite of passage, pretty much, when I lived in Greensboro. And within that rite of passage, it was like who brought about the rite of passage was like a community, a little small community, like of mamas, within the African tradition, the African tradition is like mamas and babas. So you got there's like women or elders within the community who are like mamas, and then there's men, within the community who are like fathers. So it's like your extended family, and so you call them babas. It just pretty much means mama and father and all that type of stuff. But yeah, so within that community, they brought together a couple of youth, and created and put us through like a rite of passage, giving us tools and such for adulthood, for moving forward in our lives, spiritual tools across like alchemy, Yoruba tradition, Ifa, Kemetic tradition, because one of the mamas was a Kemetic priest. I believe, not a high priestess, but a priestess. She was a Kemetic priestess, and she was my Yalosha. Pretty much means my queen mother, like the mother of me spiritually. So with that, she ended up, I received a spiritual name, and it was Ra, like the sun god, of the Kemetic religion, ancient Kemetic or ancient Egyptian, as most may know it. But and so Ra, like that means I carry the Ra energy, Ra force. That's pretty much like my spiritual guidance, so to speak, within that tradition. And so, thus the Eye of Horus or Ra, whichever you view it as, whichever philosophy you study the Kemet under. But and then the rest, TLWI. Is that on this side or this side? I be forgetting.
It's on this side. What the other side? TLWI is on that side.
TLWI is the love was in, and it's the name that I had when I started making music. After the rite of passage, I started making music and really recording my music. I used to start out spoken word, so I was doing spoken word within that community, a lot of open mics. And then I started recording it, and so I started making music under TLWI, the love was in. And it's pretty much just about cataclysmic work, like heartbreak, pain, the healing in that whole process, that life stuff. And that's what TLWI stands for. And now it's an arts collective. It's not me anymore. It's more so the arts collective and the work that we do together. We released a new project, our first project last year, called The Dark Womb. So the love was in the dark womb. And so TLWI, that's what that is. And then TAOT is just a book I'm writing, xxxalchemy.com. You can read it there. And so I've been working on it there as a newsletter and with visuals, music that I've been putting out. So it's a whole narrative with a whole lot of different multimedia attached to it to illustrate it. That's a long-winded, like, kind of introduction, but that's what these tattoos stand for. They're about me, and that's why they're on my face. First thing you see, first thing you know.
What about the one in the...
Oh, this Three Sky is what it says in Morse code. No, this is Morse code, yeah. So Three Sky is just my kind of like an alias, artistically, which basically means morning, noon, and night. Like basically three different suns in the sky, phases of the sun. That's it. Three Sky. I guess that kind of plays on. It's like the same notion as the moon has its phases, and the way we move the motions of life. The sun is kind of the similar aspect. It is a similar aspect. It's just focused in the daytime, so to speak. So the sun has its different phases as well. And so Three Sky, moving through the motions. Now who are you? I need your whole, you might want to take a sip before you get into that, but I need your whole spiel. You ain't got no tattoos for me to be like, yo, what this mean?
I'm not tatted at all.
Yeah. Okay, this might relate to who you are.
Oh, this necklace?
Yeah.
I actually just got this.
Okay, but why that though, On your neck at that.
Okay, so I got one for me and my partner. So I got one for me and my partner is elephants. The reason why I got it was because elephants have a great memory. So I bought it to symbolize the remembrance of each other when we're not together. And that was really the reasoning behind me getting this necklace for me and my significant other. Just so it's a way that we can remember each other, when we're not around each other. Even though we're not always on each other's minds, I like to tell her that we're always on each other's heart. Yeah, and I think also because, there have been multiple scenarios where, I've used my voice to speak up for her. So that could also play a significant role in why it's right here by the throat as well. But I feel like that would be more subconscious than me consciously thinking about that. But I'm Yahliq, Yahliq.
Very unique. Okay.
So my birth name, a lot of people don't know, is Yahliq. Yahliq, which is Khaliq. It's an Arabic name. My father gave me that at birth. It means creator or God's creation. I went through a journey of faith, and I started to read the Bible a lot more. And while I don't While I don't want to say that I look at it as the book above all, I think that it allowed me to have a greater understanding of what my relationship with the Most High can look like. And I also think that I really just enjoy the name Yahweh. But I've done a lot of research on the deity Yahweh and the stories behind the deity Yahweh. And it's a lot deeper than just Christianity, I'll say that much. Yahweh has been around a long time and hasn't always been perceived as a good God. But regardless of names, I think all my prayers go to the Most High entity, whatever that may be, above whatever I can understand. I'm just a part of it. But I chose Yahliq because I resonated with that more than my birth name.
What does Yahliq mean?
So, to me, I feel like Yahliq is who I become when I create warrior spirituals. I feel like Yahliq is like the authentic warrior inside of my soul. In a sense, like my warrior spirit. And I don't think I started taking up a lot of my warrior traits until I dove into choosing who I wanted to be.
I love that, man. Yeah. Oh, who are you though? Who do you want to be? What do you do?
So I'm an artist. I'm an archer. I'm a martial artist. I like to tell people I'm a practitioner of life. I'm just here to experience, That's the only thing that I can do, and it's the only thing that I can take with me if I do get to take something with me. Whatever I create is just, I feel like I don't even want to say a tool, but I feel like I'm being used by a force greater than me when I create. I don't feel like it's necessarily me, but I do feel like I'm the vector for creation. I have an idea about things that are created where whether it came through you or not, it was always destined to be made at the time it was made. It could be a song that no one's ever heard. It could have been the light bulb. No matter what the invention is, it was meant to be made at the time it was made. Whether it came through you or not just depends on how fast you acted on the idea. Because I don't think ideas are exclusive to anything but time. I think that's the reason why people come up with the same idea, and then you'll see someone else do it, and you're like, I was thinking of that. It's because ideas are not exclusive to anything but time.
You know what also? They're not exclusive. So time is spirit. Time is spirit. Time is something you can't really... We think about time, but it doesn't really have its form. You can't pick it up, right? That's spirit. That's energy. So it's all just energy, right? It doesn't belong to you. Any idea, anything we create doesn't belong to you. It happens a lot to me too. I know probably with a lot of artists, and probably even you. I remember Big Sean said something about his fifth eye being open in one of his songs, and I was like, bro, I wrote that. I haven't it ain't on a platform or scale where everybody else know about it his stuff, but it's I said that in one of my lyrics or whatever, and so I'm like, damn. A lot of times that happens, it's yo, they're saying stuff that I said before, but that I'm doing. They're doing things that I'm about to do, like when Kendrick came out with the Big Steppers, and then Beyonce now with the whole Cowboy Carter. It's just yo, I'm on that wave of I've been on that wave of coming back to my roots. Being in I'm from Southeast North Carolina, in Goldsboro, a little town. Okay. So it's really country, really southern, really rootsy, very. And Raleigh's a lot like that because they the whole folk. They got the whole folksy type environment and stuff. But I'm saying where I'm from is that, really rural. And so I'm getting into my country roots, and my music is veering that way too a little bit. Just more country, more rootsy, more folksy, more rock, so to speak. So I'm man, they're doing the things that this wave is happening that I've already that I've been already in tune with, that I was already pushing forward and going with. So it's like, that doesn't belong to me. It's a whole energy outside of myself. That time, like, it doesn't belong to me, all of that. So I feel that. I just wanted to add to that.
No, that definitely does add to it, because I think the thing that allows the ideas to continue to flow to you is not being envious of how they present themselves. So I feel like if I have an idea, right, and I understand that it's not actually my idea and it gets produced by somebody else, if I'm envious of the fact that the idea decided to present itself in that way, ideas as a whole could then allow themselves to be like, okay, well, he's not a vector for creation. Because I don't think creation is envious. I think creation just is, because it's necessary. Like, I don't think that my song, when I make it, hates someone else's song, just because they're different ideas. I think that the ideas they just are. I feel like when we think too hard about what they are, instead of just letting them be, it takes away from. Okay, one thing I like to always talk about is being a human being, right? And the most important thing about being a human is being, So like, I feel like the ideas work along a similar way. They just are, because it's not. It's interesting. Am I human because I'm being? Or like, am I human because I'm being human?
Both. It's not mutually exclusive.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not mutually exclusive. It's both. I feel that. I think it's the whole dichotomy of life, or the whole, like, I don't know. Maybe we create these kind of differences, and separation between things, because you basically saying the same thing. Am I human because I'm being, or am I being because I'm human? It's like both. You can't have one without the other. It's like having dark without light. It's just the whole, chaos without order. Yeah. And so it also made me think when you were saying, like, the envy, not being envious kind of closes you off to source and all of that, to receiving that energy. True. I will say, in the same breath, in the same vein, like, I think it was Deepak Chopra who said something about, like, there not being the universe doesn't reward you for what you can move in any way you want. The universe isn't going to reward you for any particular way. You're just going to receive whatever that energy is, or whatever that way is. If it's meant for you, it's going to happen, regardless of however you move. So even in you being envious, I feel that, even if I felt envy, because I was like, yo, bro, like, what? But when I hear those things, and I'm like, yo, that came from me, but it's like, oh, it's not mine, it's not, source. At the same time, it was like this little bit of envy. It's like, come on, man, I gotta, like, be on a scale where I'm able to, like, present these kind of ideas first. But it's like, what's the point? Still though, like I said, a little bit of envy, that still existing. It's just like, okay, that's kind of just human. That's being human. That envy. And I think that regardless of whether we feel that or not, what's going to come forward to us in energy will come forward to us regardless, as long as we're still moving in energy, moving in whatever we feel that it's the passion, it's the desire that really drives the energy to you. So whether there's envy in that or not, I think it's still the whole fact that you have this passion, desire, you want a thing so bad, and that you believe in it so much, things that, like, spiritually will come to you, whether it's lyrics, ideas and such, they'll still come regardless, because you just got that passion and desire. So I think that plays on, like, the whole good and bad aspect, whether you have envy or peace in your heart or openness for another person. Yeah, you see it all the time. Bad people get great things, get results and all these different things, and they have this high level of things, and they're still doing so much evil, but they have all this, like, it's because they have that desire and passion, regardless of whether they have good in their heart or evil. What will come to them will come to them. That's just karma, that's just law, nature. But regardless, however you feel, it's that passion and desire that keeps spirit coming to you. Like, it's like, oh no, that's why I see it.
Okay. No, I like that though. Because while I think that, not I can't even say I think, I do see people who, we can say in this situation, can thrive even if they're like based in negativity, right? Or like people can thrive even if they're envious or angry or malicious, right? But I think the thing for me is, while you can gain more material possession and more material success, like you said, the karma thing, I don't actually know how karma works. And I'd be lying to say that I did. I can say that I know that even though I've seen wins from doing things that aren't the best for someone that isn't myself, and maybe not even the best for myself spiritually when I go to sleep at night, it doesn't mean that I would continue down that path. Like, if I know that there are ways that I could cut corners and essentially kill people to get what I want. But for me, as someone who's like tried to, I can honestly say that there have been times that I've done negative things to get a positive result. You know, like, it always comes back to eat me subconsciously, consciously, like, and some people might not have that. You know, some people might be fine with that, and when it's all said and done, like, it just is what it is for them. They don't care as long as they level up on this plane, you know. And who am I to say that I know if them doing that is going to stop them from ascending? I have no idea.
Right. That's the point. Like, yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm on the same page with you as far as, like, you know, some eat my conscience and not doing something to sabotage another person or for my benefit. I'm not in that wavelength. But like you said, for other people, that may be what they came here to do. It's about this balance. Like I said, there's always these different levels and layers, and like, there's gonna be these differences. And I think that having this absolute, like, oh, bad or good or bad, it's kind of irrelevant, and it's relative to that individual, their destiny, what they came to do, or whatever specific frame of time, place, person, whatever. It's relative to that, you know. All you can do is focus on this is how I function, you know, how you function, that's how you function. But yeah, so with that being said, I just got into your music, like really, really listened to it for real. I heard some things before, like, from looking at, following you on them social media when I was really on it. It was like, to tell me where you want to go, I'm going to get you out. Yeah, seeing you perform, your performances on there. I like that song, but I really, I dig that song with the in the pew, something about the pew. It's the chorus.
Spin his block. Gun go pew, like, since it's not.
Yeah. Okay, spin the block. So, on the same notion of good and evil, in your music you talk about, like, spinning blocks and stuff like that, and them guns going pew and stuff. How do you see that? Just to pick your brain, how do you see that as far as, like, morality, like, to do something such as taking somebody's lives or putting in danger or injuring or harming somebody's predicament? Because I see this side of, like, spiritual, like, you know, opening and awakening, where it's like, okay, I'm gonna use my wit to protect rather than my sword, but at the same time, you don't mind pulling it out and it's that and third. I love it. But how would you say if somebody has something, a rebuttal for that, like okay, like, how you do that? How do you do both like that? How do you portray, you know, killing your brother or your sister or something like that, or killing people in general, or and still having this kind of spiritual aspect?
Okay, so my answer for that would be, first, I've never killed anybody. That's the first thing. Yeah, no, facts. That's the first thing. But secondly, I'd say that I think it's good to create a separation in your work between play and seriousness. And for me, I don't think that people losing their lives is a joke, but I may spin his block. I may spin his block as an alternative to, I feel like when people make music about riding out and spinning a block, like, it's generally not clever. You know, it's generally not something that makes you think about what they're saying. It's pretty much just like laid out for you. You know, like it's pretty much just like we gonna spin his block. That's my op. He gonna drop. You know, it's just like I feel like when I made that song, it was like lyrical breadcrumbs in a way, where it was like, okay, if this is the path that you're gonna take as someone who lives this life and you rap about it, just try to be a little clever. You know, like try to make if you're selling this, make it, because I feel like I think the thing that makes it enticing in most cases is the rawness of it, right? Like I have a big brother who makes music about, you know, spinning blocks and, you know, stuff like that. And I like his songs. But at the same time, I wouldn't do any of the things that he talks about doing in those songs. I mean, even on Spin His Block, when I spin his block, I'm sipping out of a straw like it came with a meal. Potato in a barrel, fries come out, catch up when it spills. Yeah. I really made it because I was trying to I was like, okay, if this is the type of music that people like, right? How can I make it in a way that's authentic to me, right? I'm not spinning nobody's block, but I want to write about it. You know, like I want to write about the version of myself that's living in a timeline where I am spinning blocks, and like how would that look? Because I did grow up in neighborhoods where the block got spun, like where the block got spun, you know, and I know people who have spun blocks before. Like I'm not looking at them like they're less of a human, while also understanding the things that I don't want to indulge in. That's also why then on my next project, I have a song called A Strange Encounter. And it's like, this car has been following me for 3 stops. I might have to reach under my seat, you know? And that's more of who I really am, in a sense of, okay, suspicious activity, I'm minding my business, I gotta keep myself protected. I really think Spinner's Block was one of those things where I was trying to put my pen on something to see if I could write about it and relate to it in my own way. Because I do know people like that. And all my homies that spin blocks really like that song. But I be telling them, you know, that's not the wave. I think a lot of the politics are too deep for some people to find reconciliation, but I don't think it's impossible. And also I think it plays into that thing of some people are here to serve a purpose, and I don't know if their purpose is or isn't, you know.
That's a good way to. Their purpose might be to spin that block and have him sipping out of a straw like he came with a meal. So, and I mean, in that same breath, it's protection, defense. I think that violence is sometimes necessary. Yeah, I mean, that's just life. You gotta do what you gotta do, and so I get it. And the wordplay is crazy. It's excellent. I'll say that. It's I don't know if I'm sure you've been giving your flowers a lot, but you definitely lyrically, bro. Yeah, you and touching in tune with them ancestors.
Thank you. I appreciate it. That means a lot because there were times that I wasn't so good lyrically, and I had a real hard time conveying the messages that I want to tell people. Now I feel like I've reached a point where like I allow whatever the song is supposed to say to just flow and let it be what it is. I stopped trying to be this guy where like I gotta write the best thing I've ever written. Like the best thing you ever written is gonna decide that for itself. Like I'ma be sitting on I could sit on in my notebook 30 days in a row writing a song every day, and maybe every day I write a song that I felt like was better than yesterday. Maybe there are days that I'm like, I hate this song. I wish I would have never wrote this. This is not a reflection of how I feel like I'm an artist. And then other days where I'm like, oh my God, like thank you, Most High. You blessed me with, yeah. But understanding that the progress could look consistent or inconsistent, I just let it be what it is now, because I feel like anything that's supposed to be said through me is going to get said.
Yeah. Big facts. I mean, and like you said, it's coming through you, so it's a testament to your spiritual attunement. Like I said, it's just coming through you. The energy is it's immaculate, definitely. The wordplay is crazy. It's excellent, and I think it's definitely something that only Spirit can do. I always give when I'm writing something crazy, I'm like, I don't know where that came from, bro. Like, that's not me. Anything that's good like that, it's not me. And I think I kind of gauge my spiritual evolution through how good my music continues to get. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a relationship with my ancestors and my spirit team and such. So, yeah, I do that shadow work through my music so I'll be able to see, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like, that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing, and I see it. So, yeah, I got to commend you on the lyrical wordplay. It's insane, man. The Pew really, the Pew one really got me, yo. I was like, okay, I like that. And there's a couple other ones, too. But, yeah, I like Spin This Block particularly because when I heard it, I was like, I saw the title and then I played it and I was like, okay, this is not the type of instrumental that I was expecting to come on. I was expecting something more hard hitting, like we in the streets, we outside. But it was like an R&B type vibe going on. I was like, oh, that's my type of like approach. Like I like to surprise and have this like dichotomy going on. So I like how you did that. Like I'm gonna spin this block, I'm sipping out of it, like on the R&B. Yo, yes, smooth, very excellent choice. Yeah, I love, and I like that last song with the guy. It's a bonus track on that same project. Yeah, I like that too. And then the one with the guy who kind of sound like Playboy Cardi.
Super original.
Yeah, that one too.
Yeah. With Monte Shaquille, super original. Yeah, that was
good. Yeah. That was hard. There's so many tracks on that one, and I feel like, I don't know, do you feel like that project get a little overlooked?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, like, and I think it's gonna be like that for some time. I think that's gonna probably be my most overlooked project. I feel like it was a little 4-pack, so it's easy to overlook it in comparison to my project that came after it, which was 6 songs. But I think the Letters from Lucy song, since I performed it so much, people are like really locked onto that project. And I haven't really performed any of the songs off of that first project. I think I performed Spin This Block here at Lucky Tree one time, and it was the first time I ever came to Lucky Tree. And like people liked it, but I just don't think at that time I was ready for it. I think that as I continue to perform and I start to bring it out, as I drop more music, it'll gain appreciation, because it'll be one of those things where like I'll perform it and people who haven't gone back to listen to those songs are gonna like, oh, like when did you make these? And it's like, well, these are the first songs like I ever dropped on streaming platforms.
Yeah, I feel that same way too about some of my old stuff. And that stuff kind of gets to the people sometimes, like imposter syndrome kicks in. It's like, yo, I guess that wasn't as good as I thought it was. And so people sometimes take this stuff off and take it down and be like, okay, I'm just gonna keep up with stuff that actually is performing good, or I'm you know what I'm saying, only pour into those things. But I know I got some stuff from my only album that I have out, R4LD2E, that I'm gonna be pushing. I think it's ahead of its time, and I still believe in it, and I'm gonna keep pushing. Like I know I'm gonna create a visual for In the Alt, and just at some point, even though the album gonna be out for like I don't know 10 years, I'm still gonna produce one later when I have all the resources that I want for it. But like at that project particularly, the one what's the name of that project we were talking about?
Over the Horizon.
Over the Horizon is definitely, it's really good, man. And I think the whole you performing the other song beforehand, Letters from Lucy, yeah, that whole from that project, I know that's got a lot of traction because of your performances and stuff. But yeah, I can't wait to see you perform more of the Over the Horizon. And see what you do with that one. I think you should really create a whole layout for that, like a whole show particularly for that Over the Horizon show type thing, because yeah, I think it is a little overlooking. It's really good. The other ones, I like the other project, but I think that was my favorite, that project. Yeah. So you said, when did you first come to Lucky Tree? Was it around the time that I first came here?
It was actually, so I actually came to Lucky Tree, crazily enough, a year ago this month. Like, I was at Lucky Tree Monday after the eclipse, and it was just kind of crazy. It felt like a full circle moment where it's like this crazy eclipse in the month of the year that I like started performing. It was a wild moment, because I'm up here a year later, like a full year later, at Lucky Tree performing, and people know the songs, like know the song that I'm performing. And when I remember a year ago when I got here, people didn't even know like my name, So seeing the growth of building a natural support system and like a legitimate fan base, that then when I come back, I'm welcome with open arms to a place that I was once a stranger. Like, that's beautiful.
That is very beautiful. Yeah, I mean, it's funny too, it's full circle. Not only the fact that you started your first time coming here, it's been about a year ago now, but like it's also full circle because we met here too. So that worked out. I know we were gonna have this interview at a whole different location, this was it was always in the back of my mind to come here, and you saying it, I was like, okay, that's confirmation. Let's do this. So we're pretty much just paying a little homage to where we started and where you started with your whole. When you first came here, were you starting out with your music?
When I first came here, I was starting out performing. I had music that was on SoundCloud that I made when I was in high school and when I got right out of high school. But I took a hiatus from music during the pandemic. So from like 2019 all the way till the beginning of 2023, I didn't drop anything. So I scrubbed all of my old music because I didn't feel like it was a good representation of who I am. I think if my old music was what I perform now, people would have an idea that I was something that I'm just not. And I think I used to make music trying to get people to like me versus just making music that I like. So now going into 2020, coming out of 2022, going into 2023, I was that's when the whole Yahliq phase happened. I was like, no, I'm gonna stay true to me. I'm gonna make the music that I feel is authentic to me and my soul, and I'm gonna stick with that. And if people like it, I love it. If they don't like it, so what? It is what it is. I would rather you not like me because I'm actually being myself versus you not like who I'm trying to be.
Versus you liking who I'm trying to be, yeah. Respect. Well, who you are now, you were saying something about it being warrior spirituals that you do. Can you talk more about what warrior spirituals is? I don't know what it is.
Okay, so I like to tell people, one, get creative. If you're an artist or a musician, you can make your own genre. Subgenres exist for a reason.
Okay, it's your genre.
Right. So Warrior Spirituals is a genre of music. It's exclusive to me just because I'm the first person that made it. But no one's ever asked for a cosign. So you can make Warrior Spirituals. You just got to get a cosign. That's it. That's it.
Let me get my cosign.
Okay, that's cool. You can get the cosign. Like, people just, I think somebody comes up with something. Because I think when I came up with the Warrior Spiritual thing, people were like, you can just make a genre. I'm like, yo, you can do whatever you want in this life.
Explain. Describe Warrior Spirituals. What's that like?
Okay, so essentially, Warrior Spirituals comes from me believing that we all have our own fight. And since we're spiritual beings having a physical experience, I believe that since we all have our own fight, our life in a way is a warrior spiritual. Everyone's not warrior tribe or warrior class, but I do believe that I am warrior class. I don't think you have to go fight in an army for a place that you don't necessarily believe in fighting. Like, you don't have to fight in an army for a country that you don't believe in fighting the battles for, but you do have to fight the fights that matter to you.
You can fight at home, fight for your family, within your family. I get that. It really resonates with me because I was definitely being where I'm from. It's we have a base, Air Force base there, and I was definitely on the track. My father had been in the military. His sisters had been in the military. My grandfather was in the military. Military was just kind of felt like it was my my journey. It was that was gonna be my trajectory. And I always felt like this warrior spirit, whether that was my grandfather coming through me or what. Because since he's no longer here, so I was like, I don't know, I just have that energy in that blood, like that warrior blood energy. And so, yeah, I was set for the military. That was my thing. But then I started getting tattoos artistically. That started taking over. So I guess basically I aligned that with my spirituality, my artistic side and ability. So my spirituality just started taking over, and I was just like, okay. Not to say that warrior energy wasn't there, because it definitely was there, because I started speaking more about community stuff that we can do, like in the Black community, like, that warrior energy of that, like, group economics, just, changing the things and, shifting the whole paradigm. And so we're able to so that was my warrior, my roar in that sense, my battle cry, the spoken word, my poetry, my art, and all type of stuff. So I could see how, regardless of whether you're on the battlefield literally fighting in an army of any sort, you can take up your sword with music, art. You can take up your sword with whatever you want to do, science, technology, whatever. And so warrior spirituals is something I think a lot of people can relate to. You basically created a home within your genre. You should have like some kind of like, how people in the some military branches, they have like hoorah or whatever. You should create a battle cry for warrior spirituals.
That's a great idea. That's an amazing idea. I really got to think of a battle cry though.
Yeah. That's like kind of like an ad lib. You know how people got, some rappers got they say ad lib. Yeah, that'd be dope, man. It's something you do and you come in and say all the time.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
People love to feel included. I like helping people feel included. You make a good point by saying that I created a home in a genre, because essentially what I tell people about my music is I make my music for me. So if you resonate with my music, that means that you just resonate with a piece of my heart. And what I tell them is, it's beautiful that you were able to see yourself in me enough to like my songs. So it does, in a way, create a home for them, because it's not like I'm forcing them to live there. In a sense, they're choosing to live in that genre if they decide to.
Oh, shoot. Respect. Respect. That's true. Yeah, I mean, we might be nearing the end of the interview, but I would like to do this again. There's so much more to uncover. Your mind is a universe, and I can see that everybody's is. But yeah, I definitely would like to delve more into your world and to how you speak about things, to think about things. What are you working on right now? Are you working on any kind of new music, any projects outside of music, maybe?
So there's a project that I'm working on right now. I'm just gonna call it Triple H. I'll reveal the full name soon, but it's called
WWF?
I think WWE, something like that. Yeah, it was one of the, but it's called Triple H. But when I break down the acronym of what the H's stand for, I think it'll be people will understand.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's Triple H. I call it a heart repair project. So I think, we get a lot of love songs, a lot of heartbreak music, but we don't get those songs that allow us to repair our hearts and, give us a guidebook on how to heal ourselves, And I think that's super important. I don't really resonate with the idea of hopelessness after heartbreak. I believe that you've always had the tools that you needed to pull yourself out of any situation. You just need to put them in your hand. When someone's working that has a tool belt, if I need a screwdriver, I'm not going to be holding my hammer, but that doesn't mean that my hammer's not with me. It just means that it's not the time to use that tool. And I think that, until we go through heartbreak, we don't hold the tools for heart repair. But once we go through it, it's our choice to use the right tool or not. And I think sometimes we don't use the right tool, whether that be drowning yourself in substances or choosing passive aggressiveness instead of being direct, whether that be, it's so many outlets for the emotions that come with a heartbreak. And I mean, maybe that's a thing too. Maybe some people were sent here and their experience in this life is to experience immense heartbreak, and I can't speak for them. I really can only, that's why I say I make my music for me, because I can only speak for myself. And if you resonate with it, it resonates with a piece of my heart, that's.
So that's the project you're working on.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's going to be about. I respect. I like that. So it's about repairing your heart and not just wallowing in it. How you can move forward, how you can heal in it. I like that. It's another process of the whole healing. I feel like healing is it's not just like a, you experience the trauma or the wounds, it's not, and then you heal it and you recover. I think it's a loop. You're gonna go back to that wound. It's gonna always be there. I feel like it's like grief. It's something that, you don't. It's like lifelong, pretty much. The healing is lifelong. So, yeah, I think that it's an important part of the process, and also something that's gonna be renewed over and over again. So, this could be. You could have part 2, Triple H 2, Triple H 3, Triple H 4. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it does open up the opportunity for it to be built upon. But Triple H is the next thing, and I think that that's going to be a real. If it's not received well, I think it'll be more underrated than Over the Horizon. Yeah.
More underrated. That's a compliment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a compliment to that project for real, because that's the thing. Things that are underrated, those are gems, bro. So that's actually a compliment. It's a compliment. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And more performance. I gotta come to some of your performances at some point, because you be having a lot. But I don't really get out the house. And if I do, I'm working. You know what I'm saying? I'm working. And I'm putting money into projects and working on my own things, and I'm pushing forward. But yeah, you got any features on this new project?
This is probably going to be the most features that I've ever had on a project, because I've met so many people in the past year. I mean, I'm not going to call it an album, but if you want to call it an album, you can call it an album.
You have like multiple people on one track?
I do on one song. I have multiple people on one track, but pretty much I worked with some singers and a few MCs, a few rappers, and made some songs that I really enjoy that they're on. I always start my projects alone and then allow people to get in where they fit in. I don't ever try to force somebody to be on a project. You know, I'd rather just set up the studio session, us make a song, and if it works its way onto the project, just go like that. Because I think the music will tell me what it wants to do.
Well, Yahliq. Yukawa. I think that's all we have for today, bro. Appreciate you being here. You had any questions for me aside from the tattoos before we close out that you feel like you might want to be in this video? If not, we're good, bro. I feel like you have a curious mind, so.
I do. Okay, when you make music in other languages, do you do it for you or do you do it for a broader audience? Because like I know you have songs that I literally cannot, like they sound amazing, but I can't remember exactly which song it was, but it was a really good song you made that was in a language that I just don't know.
Do I do it for me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the language probably, and so I like to learn different languages. Probably was in Portuguese. Was it like one where I was singing?
I believe
I think I'm always singing in
I
those.
can't hold you like while
It was
I
Portuguese
may not
probably.
While I may not be able to name the songs off the top of my head, I do remember a point in time where I was like super into finding the people's music in the area, and your music was some of the music that really stood out to me. I can't remember what the song was, but there was this. It was on a beat that I had heard before. And like your flow and the way that you were just in and out and like on, it was like you were like in and out of the beat and like on and off, but everything was, it was like you were doing spoken word, but you were rapping at the same time. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I think that was like immortalized through something as a long name. So immortalized, it might have been the immortalized song from the Void, the Fields of Heart Space, where I was speaking in, because I was speaking and then I was like doing some spoken word at the same time. Then I started speaking in the language. But I speak a lot of Spanish and Portuguese in my music. I love those two languages. I want to get into some more German. Sometimes I speak a little Japanese, which is like my native tongue. Not my original language, but like my native tongue as far as through my ancestors, my grandmother and all of that. But yeah, you asked what language I was speaking, right? Yeah, I don't know. It might have been that Portuguese, probably. Okay. I'd say it's that one.
So you say native, is that where the Yukawa comes from?
Yeah, that's where the Yukawa comes from. That's my grandmother's last name. Yeah, that's her family name. And I gave it my own meaning, because I'm not, there's a whole story with that. But, I just gave it my own meaning because I'm not originally from Japan. She has her own, connection with it. But for me, not knowing my family in Japan, not speaking Japanese fluently and all that stuff, basically being majorly black and stuff, being identified like that, it's just like, okay. Yukawa means owning yourself, renaming yourself, reclaiming your narrative, and rewriting it. That's what Yukawa means to me now. So, and finding the connection within your past, your future, and all that type of stuff, and just owning it all, creating your own storyline. So, Yukawa, that's what it means.
Okay. What do you feel gives you the courage to express yourself so freely in your songs and the way that you structure them? Because when I've listened to your songs, I feel like the only time I've ever heard, someone structure their songs and the way that you structure your songs is like Kendrick Lamar. Like, yeah, because sometimes the way that you flow or the way that you put your songs together isn't conventional, right? It's not always like hook, verse, hook, Like, it's not always like verse, bridge, hook, but it's also not like it's not put together. It's not like you're just doing whatever. Like, it does have a structure to it. It's just not a conventional structure.
Yeah.
Because it flows well and it sounds like the song is complete. Like, we've all heard the song on maybe SoundCloud where like the person is spiraling on the song for like 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. But that's not what your music sounds like. Hey, you might have those, but I have not. Yeah. Those are not the ones that I've heard.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm thinking I'm spiraling, but it's actually got some structure to it. But for those, like I said, it's spirit, right? It's spirit. Which funny because Kendrick said that in one of his songs. He was like, "Spirit speaking through us" when he was on. Remember that song? He was talking with Pac. He called himself talking with Pac. And he was like, "Oh," and Pac was like, "Oh, it's spirit speaking through us, and we speaking for our dead homies and all that type of stuff." It really is just spirit speaking through us, bro. And so I really don't know. I guess I go into this thing that I call creative cocoon, and I really just cocoon, and I get into my space and my zone, and I'm in there for probably like, I have the luxury of being able to be in there for maybe like a couple of days to a week or something like that, and just be in this creative cocoon, this space where I'm able to just create. And sometimes it doesn't look like any form like spirit does. There's no form, so to speak. And so, but it is structured because it's something you can feel and understand in your mind and your heart, and it connects with you where you create the structure by relating to it. You see how it makes sense. You see how it flows together. You feel it. You experience it flowing together rather than actually doing that. Because with another person that it doesn't connect to, they're probably going to be like, yeah, that don't flow. That don't make any sense. It don't go together. You know what I'm saying? But you connect with it like that. So you connecting with me, like you say, my heart and stuff. So you're able to see the structure of it, the sense in it. Because I just go in and do what I do. And sometimes I laugh because sometimes I don't even see where a chorus will be, where a bridge will be, and where a verse will be with music. Sometimes I just see it as a dope. I just feel the music. So sometimes I have to actually actively listen to the music and be like, okay, is that a chorus? But I don't like to do that because I feel like it's overanalyzing myself and like kind of demeaning spirit, being able to work. You know what I mean? I just let it flow. So I guess I don't even see a structure in music.
Yeah, so one of the things that I've noticed about your page is your visual art, your photos and your videos. They're very unique. They kind of have like a style to them that you would see in a museum. Like if you went to the museum that's up the street, I can't remember the exact name of it, but I feel like there would be an exhibit with like some of the photos that you've taken, where like you have your mask on with the sword and the pointy cowboy boots that you were talking about, and it's been a couple other looks that you've had on your page and videos that you've taken as well, where I just want to know like where do the ideas come from, and can we expect to see more visual art along with new music?
So all of that just comes from my childhood, or I'm playing on my childhood in general. Like I remember I was out in like this, like it looked like the Egyptian pyramids. It remind me of that anyway. It was like these hills, sand hills and what have you. Reminds me of back when I was a child. So the dunes, I resonate with that. Again, moving off spirit, like just feeling that connection, just flowing with it. And then with the pointy boots, like, I grew up around a lot of Mexicans, Hondurans, Salvadorans, a lot of people who were from that particular culture, and the Mexican culture and what have you, people that I'm close with who are Mexican and what have you. And so just knowing about that culture and resonating with it, being like, those pointy boots, they're hard. You know what I'm saying? Those are hard. That whole part of culture is hard. Their culture is hard. So I'm like, I'm going to definitely just pay homage to my connection and into how fly it is, you know what I'm saying? And so the pointed boots coming, and then you got the mask, the Japanese demon or whatever you want to call it, or a spirit. And then the sword, the samurai sword, all those type of things, just playing on my culture, who I am, my identity, where I'm from, and so that's all that my visuals are, all that my photography is based on when it comes to the image that I present and the items that I use. It's all very ancestral or spiritual or related to my identity, who I am, who I've been, who I'm becoming. And so it's kind of like a collage in that instance. But also, I love how you said something about the museum aspect, because that's definitely something that I have in mind. When it comes to anything visual related, I always think about things that that's tangible, things that I can actually touch, like props and stuff. Those are important to me. And at the end of the day, whenever I have a visual or project that I'm doing, I would love to have like a museum exhibition portion of it, part of it, where it's like, okay, we come to this exhibition and we're performing the music or listening to music or just being in the space with the different objects and artifacts from those visuals, from those things, because they tell a story. They're a part of the story in and of itself. So moving forward, definitely gonna do that. That's just part of like my signature with things. And with the new project that I'm releasing, Ash, Mary, and Mud, definitely Ash, Mary, and Mud.
That's hard.
It is hard, yeah. I appreciate that.
Ash, Mary, and Mud is crazy. It's fire.
Yeah, we definitely gonna. The visuals are. I got 3 of them out right now for it. I added another one for. It's not cute to be a martyr. I know it's not cute to be a martyr. I added another one for that one. So yeah, and you'll see that in the videos, like the whole artifacts and objects, and then memories and stuff like that. You'll see all that playing out in that. I'm gonna create a whole exhibition for that, for real. Ash, Mary, and Mud, which is a part of the Alchemy of Temptation, TAOT. That's a part of that whole world. It's a part of the illustration of that whole world. So, yeah, man, that's what I got coming up. That's what we're working on. And I appreciate that question, too, man. That's a deep dive. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I mean, being honest, like, just being observant, it's okay. Okay. Being honest, just being observant, what you do stands out. And I feel like we don't see enough of that in music. Like, we don't see enough people, no matter what it looks like, just being themselves and being, like, different. I think we see a lot of people trying to do what works. And I just think that while one thing may work for someone else, it doesn't mean that it's going to work for you. And even if it does work for you, it may not work at the scale that you saw it work for them. So I always think it's best to do your thing, and you do very good at doing your own thing.
Respect. You too. Keep doing that. The warrior spirituals is where it's at, man. I love that.